the edge of a quiet village, there stands a house unlike any other. Its windows glow softly at dusk, as though they hold within them the warmth of countless hearth fires and stories untold. Some call it haunted, but those who have wandered through its creaking halls know it as something gentler, a place where the past lingers, not in fear, but in fondness. The house rests on a low rise, surrounded by trees that lean protectively against its weathered walls. Each autumn leaf that drifts to the ground seems to carry with it a secret whisper, a memory left behind by those who once lived here. By day the house is handsome and stately, but by night it becomes something more, an embrace of shadows, a place where silence is alive with presence. There is no need for unease in this home. The unseen companions who dwell within are not there to frighten or disturb. They are gentle souls, content to hum through the rafters, flicker a candle, or turn a page in the library, as though reminding the living that kindness can endure beyond time. To enter the friendly haunted house is to step into a story of comfort, one where the unseen world offers not chills but calm. Welcome to Bedtime Travel Stories, where soothing tales and gentle narrations take you on a tranquil journey through the world's most enchanting places, right from the comfort of your bed. Unwind and travel with us as we explore the globe one story at a time, helping you relax and drift into a peaceful sleep. Chapter 1: The House on the Hill. At the crest of the gentle rise, the house watches over the village below like a kindly guardian. Its tall gables and peaked roof seem to stretch toward the sky, and though its wooden beams are weathered, there is nothing tired about it. Instead, the house seems content, like an elder resting peacefully, full of stories, yet happy to wait for those who wish to hear them. The front steps, worn smooth by countless visitors, lead to a door that looks heavy but opens without effort. To touch the polished brass handle is to feel an echo of warmth, as if the metal itself remembers the hands of those who came before. Even before stepping inside, guests sense the welcome, a kind of wordless invitation to rest, listen, and stay as long as they like. From its tower window, the house gazes out across fields dotted with lanterns, the small glow of village life carrying on below. There is comfort in that view, the hum of community and the knowledge that the house has watched over generations, always present but never imposing. In return, the villagers speak of the house with fondness, never with dread, for they know its reputation is one of care. Legends tell of the family who once lived here, whose laughter filled the halls and whose kindness spread into the village itself. When they passed on, the villagers whispered that their spirits lingered, but not as restless shades. Instead, they stayed as guardians, tending to the home they loved, ensuring it remained a haven for weary travellers. Evenings are when the house is at its most magical. Lanterns along the garden path flicker to life without a match, their flames steady against the breeze. Curtains shift as though unseen hands draw them open to welcome the night sky. From the porch, one might hear the faintest hum of music drifting from within, so light it could be mistaken for the wind. The house is not silent, though it never startles. The floors creak like old friends stretching after a long day, and the walls carry the soft echo of conversations long past. These are not noises of unease, but reminders that life, both past and present, remains woven into every corner. Visitors often speak of a sense of calm that settles over them when they arrive. Troubles seem lighter and sleep comes easily, as if the house itself encourages rest. It is as though the very air is imbued with comfort, warmed by unseen fires and softened by laughter that refuses to fade. Standing before the house on the hill, one realizes that haunting need not mean fear. Here it means companionship, memory and care that transcends time. The house is a presence unto itself, steady and kind, a place where the veil between worlds feels less like a barrier and more like a curtain gently swaying in the breeze. And so, each night, as the sky deepens into indigo, the house glows a little brighter, its windows promising not mystery, but sanctuary. To step through its doorway is to be welcomed into a story both ancient and ongoing, one that whispers of belonging no matter who you are or where you've come from. Chapter 2: The Gentle Ghosts. Inside the house, the presence of its unseen caretakers is felt almost immediately. The air carries a quiet hum, not unlike the murmur of a lullaby, as though the very walls wish to soothe those who enter. Visitors speak of a sensation like being wrapped in a soft shawl, comfort blooming around them in ways that words can never quite capture. The first of the gentle ghosts is often sensed in the entry hall. A faint hand, never cold, seems to guide newcomers toward the hearth, as if to say, "Here, you are safe." Some claim to have seen the faint outline of a figure in the hallway mirror, smiling kindly before fading into the shimmer of candlelight. It is not a vision that startles, but one that reassures. In the parlour, the echoes of laughter drift faintly across time. The ghosts here are playful, brushing a curtain as though peeking out, or letting the chandelier sway just slightly when no breeze moves. They are guardians of joy, making sure the space never loses the warmth of company. It is said that those who sit too long in silence here may suddenly hear the faintest sound of clinking glasses, as though a toast is being made in their honour. Upstairs the feeling shifts, though it never grows uneasy. Here the spirits are gentler still, lingering in the corners like quiet watchers. Travellers who rest in the upstairs rooms often report waking with a sense that they have been looked after through the night. Dreams in the friendly haunted house are sweet, filled with images of candlelit halls and whispered lullabies. One story tells of a visitor who left her window ajar on a stormy night. When the rain began to blow inside, she awoke to find the shutters firmly closed. The latch, which had been stiff and hard to move during the day, now sat snugly in place. She swore she had not risen, and yet the floorboards creaked as though someone had walked across them moments before. Instead of fear, she felt gratitude, whispering a soft thank you into the darkness. Children, too, sense the spirits quickly. Many speak of unseen friends who play games in the halls, tugging gently on their sleeves, or leading them toward hidden corners where old toys wait. Parents often smile knowingly, recognizing that the house itself seems to delight in their wonder, carrying forward the laughter of generations. At times, visitors notice the fragrance of roses when no flowers are near, or the faint warmth of bread baking when the kitchen lies quiet. These are the ghost's way of saying that the house remembers joy and it longs to share it. The scents and sounds drift like threads of memory, woven into the present with quiet care. The spirits here are not trapped, they are keepers. They stay not because they cannot leave, but because they choose not to. Their bond to the house is one of devotion, of love so enduring that even the passage of years cannot unravel it. They remain not as shadows of what once was, but as protectors of what still is. And so the gentle ghosts of the friendly haunted house linger with grace. They do not frighten, they console. They do not demand, they give. In their presence, the line between past and present blurs, leaving only a sense of belonging, as if everyone who steps inside becomes part of a family that stretches far beyond the limits of time. Chapter 3: Rooms Filled with Whispers. The heart of the friendly haunted house lies in its rooms, each one carrying the echoes of those who once lived and loved within its walls. These whispers are not sharp or startling, they are soft and steady, like the murmur of water over stone, weaving gentle comfort into the silence. Every room is alive with memory, holding fragments of laughter, conversation, and quiet companionship that refuse to fade away. The sitting room is the first stop for most visitors. Its fireplace still glows with embers long after the last log has burned, and the air feels warmer than the flames alone could provide. In the evenings, if one listens closely, they may hear the faint shuffle of cards on the oak table or the ghost of a chuckle, as though old friends are still gathered around in friendly games. The velvet armchairs, worn but sturdy, seem to invite the living to join the company of the unseen. The library hums with its own presence. Books line the shelves from floor to ceiling, their spines faded but dignified. Sometimes a volume slips forward, as though eager to be chosen. Guests who open one of these suggested tomes often find passages that speak directly to their hearts, as though the house itself has chosen the words for them. The faintest scent of ink and parchment lingers in the air, carrying with it the weight of centuries of thought and imagination. Not far from the library lies the dining room, a space that often feels busier than it should. The long table gleams as though polished each night, and the chandelier sways gently, as if moved by invisible hands preparing for supper. Visitors have claimed to hear the delicate clink of cutlery, the soft hum of a family gathering long past. Rather than loneliness, the room radiates welcome, as though one could sit down at any time and find themselves surrounded by good company. The kitchen holds its own magic. Copper pots gleam in the low light, and the scent of fresh bread seems to linger no matter how many years have passed since the oven last burned. Sometimes a loaf of bread or a warm pie seems almost tangible in the mind of those who wander here, as though the ghosts are sharing their fondest memories through taste and smell. The steady sound of a spoon stirring echoes faintly in the corners, turning absence into presence. Upstairs the bedrooms whisper differently. Here the tones are softer still, more intimate and private. The air carries lullabies sung by unseen voices, notes that drift like threads of silk through the night. Those who stay in these rooms often report waking with a sense of having been cradled by something kind and watchful. Dreams in the friendly haunted house are peaceful, filled with candlelight and quiet reassurance. Even the hallways seem alive with murmurs. The floorboards creak as though unseen feet pass lightly by, never hurried, always steady. Curtains shift gently when there is no breeze, and shadows bend just enough to suggest the presence of companions. Yet every sound and movement is imbued with calm, an unspoken reminder that no one here is ever truly alone. The whispers are not meant to unsettle. They are gentle reassurances, invitations to pause and listen. To be in these rooms is to understand that memory does not have to fade, that kindness can echo forever. The friendly haunted house does not guard its whispers. It shares them freely, wrapping each visitor in a chorus of warmth that stretches far beyond sight or touch. And so, the rooms of the house become more than spaces. They become companions, storytellers and caretakers, offering to those who enter not only shelter, but also the comfort of being remembered. Within these walls, whispers do not haunt, they soothe. Chapter 4: The Garden by Moonlight. Beyond the house itself lies a garden that blooms most brightly under the silver touch of the moon. By day, it is a tangle of roses, ivy and wildflowers, but at night it becomes a dreamscape of shifting light and gentle presence. Paths of stone wind between flower beds, and lanterns glow softly without flame, as though lit by invisible hands. The entire space feels alive, not just with plants, but with memory. The trees stand like guardians, their branches interwoven to form a canopy that cradles the night sky. Leaves rustle gently even when the air is still, and many who walk here say the sound feels like a conversation in a language older than words. It is a dialogue of comfort, as though the garden itself is assuring visitors that they are welcome. The roses are the true marvel of this place. Their fragrance is richest when the moon is full, drifting across the air in waves that calm the mind and soften the heart. Some guests swear the blooms shift slightly toward them as they pass, nodding like companions pleased by the company. Each blossom seems to carry its own story, its petals whispering secrets of those who tended them long ago. A small fountain sits at the garden's centre, its water shimmering under moonlight. Yet the fountain does not always flow with sound. Sometimes it is silent, its surface rippling gently as though touched by unseen fingers. Those who linger here often find themselves lulled into reflection, watching the patterns on the water until they drift into a peaceful trance. It is not unusual to glimpse a glow moving among the hedges, a lantern's light carried by no visible hand. The glow always lingers just ahead, never too far to follow, never too close to startle. Guests who walk after it often find themselves guided to the most beautiful corners of the garden, places where the moonlight paints silver outlines around every leaf. Even the animals seem to understand the garden's gentle hauntings. Birds roost calmly in the trees without fear, and rabbits hop across the paths unhurried. A soft hoot from an owl feels like a greeting rather than a warning. The spirits of the house seem to extend their guardianship here, ensuring every creature feels as safe as the humans who visit. Many travellers speak of hearing faint music in the garden, though no musician is ever found. It drifts on the air like a waltz remembered, notes falling in time with the sway of the branches. Some believe it is the song of a family gathering once held here, forever replaying itself under the moon. Others think it is simply the house sharing a lullaby of its own. There is a sense that the garden changes for each visitor. Some find benches that seem perfectly placed for their rest, while others swear they encounter flowers they have never seen before, blossoms that vanish by morning. These small enchantments are never threatening. They are personal gifts, woven from memory and moonlight, meant to remind each guest that they are seen. To walk the garden by moonlight is to step into a story that unfolds differently every night. It is a place where the air itself seems to hold the kindness of the unseen, where the silence is alive with presence. The friendly haunted house does not end at its doors. It blooms here too under the stars, reminding all who wander its paths that peace can be eternal. Chapter 5. The Music Room. Within the house, tucked behind a set of carved double doors, lies the music room. By day it rests in silence, but as evening falls and shadows lengthen, the air inside stirs with life. It is said that the house remembers every note ever played here, and when the world outside grows quiet, those melodies rise again like a gentle tide. A grand piano sits in the centre, polished though no one has touched it in years. At night, its keys sometimes depress with no visible hand, releasing soft notes that weave together into songs both familiar and new. Visitors have spoken of lullabies drifting through the room, music so tender it feels less like sound and more like memory, caressing the heart with every phrase. The walls are lined with instruments once cherished by the family. A violin rests in a corner, its bow leaning gracefully against the frame, and on occasion a faint string hum resonates as if it longs to join the piano's tune. Drums, flutes and horns all share the room, silent by sight yet alive in presence, creating an invisible orchestra that gathers when the house wishes to soothe. Candles flicker more brightly here than in other rooms, their flames swaying in time to the rhythm. Some claim the chandeliers above sway lightly, as though moved by unseen dancers gliding across the floor. The music fills the air not just as sound, but as atmosphere, transforming the space into a living dream where the past performs for the present. Travellers who enter the music room often describe being lulled into a state of profound calm. The songs seem chosen for each person, soft and wistful for those burdened by sorrow, joyful and lilting for those who arrive with lighter hearts. Many fall asleep in the cushioned chairs, wrapped in melodies that linger in their dreams long after the room grows quiet again. It is said that the spirits who play this music do so not for themselves but for the living. Their gift is comfort, their goal, peace. Where other haunted places might echo with cries or unsettling sounds, here the echoes are symphonies of kindness. Every note is played with intention, every silence filled with care. Children are especially attuned to the music room. They often hum along to songs no adult can hear, their voices weaving seamlessly with the unseen orchestra. Some parents, upon hearing their children sing in the quiet air, find themselves swept into harmonies they cannot explain, their worries dissolving in waves of sound. Even after leaving the room, the music follows visitors down the hallways, fading only when sleep claims them. It is not a haunting melody, but a guiding one, a soft reminder that beauty persists even in silence. The friendly haunted house ensures that no one who listens leaves untouched, for music is its most generous ghost of all. And so the music room remains timeless and alive, where unseen hands keep alive the art of sound. Its purpose is not performance but comfort, not spectacle but serenity. To stand within its walls is to know that music never dies, it simply finds new ways to be heard. Chapter 6. The Kitchen Hearth. At the centre of the house, warmth radiates from the kitchen. Though no firewood is stacked by the hearth and no cook tends the oven, the room glows with a gentle heat, as if it remembers the meals once made here. The hearth seems always ready to receive guests, offering comfort that goes beyond the physical warmth of fire. Copper pots hang neatly from their hooks, gleaming as though polished daily. Visitors often hear the soft clink of metal against metal, as if unseen hands are preparing a meal. The aroma of baking bread sometimes fills the air, wrapping around the senses with a sweetness that feels like homecoming. No matter how long one lingers, the scents never fade into staleness. They are always fresh, always inviting. The great wooden table is the heart of the room. Its surface bears scratches and worn places, signs of countless meals shared by family and friends. Some travellers swear they see the impressions of hands or the faint shimmer of plates upon the table, though nothing is truly there. The house seems to remember each gathering, and in its remembering it invites the living to feel part of its story. In the corner, a rocking chair creaks softly, though no one sits in it. The sound is steady and rhythmic, like the motion of a caregiver soothing a child. Visitors who close their eyes sometimes feel a presence near them, offering comfort through silence and companionship. The rocking chair, like the house, seems to hold a promise. You are cared for here. At times, voices murmur in the kitchen, low and cheerful, as though an unseen family is preparing supper together. The sound rises and falls with the rhythm of laughter and conversation, but always stays gentle, never intruding. Those who hear it often smile without realizing, warmed by the sensation of belonging even among the unseen. Children feel especially at ease in this space. Some claim they've been offered invisible treats, giggling as though someone had pressed a cookie into their hand. Parents often notice their little ones nibbling at nothing, their eyes bright with joy. Whether real or imagined, the house ensures that every guest feels nourished in body and spirit. The hearth itself is a marvel. Flames flicker within, though no wood is added, glowing not with orange and red, but with soft gold. The light casts long, soothing shadows across the stone floor, as though the past itself is alive in the dance. Sitting before the hearth is like listening to a lullaby without words, a calm that eases the mind toward rest. Travellers often say the kitchen is where they felt most at home. More than a room, it feels like a companion, welcoming them to stay a little longer, to share in the warmth of countless meals and conversations that time could not erase. The house, through this room, reminds them that nourishment can be eternal, not just food, but comfort, love, and presence. And so, the kitchen hearth glows endlessly, a symbol of care that survives beyond lifetimes. To step inside is to be enfolded by memory and kindness, soothed by warmth that asks for nothing in return. The friendly haunted house ensures that here every guest leaves full, not of bread alone, but of peace. Chapter 7. Stories of Visitors Past. Every house carries the weight of those who have entered it, but here that weight is lightened into stories that linger with kindness. The friendly haunted house has welcomed many travellers over the years, and though their footsteps have faded, their presence remains in soft echoes. The spirits seem to remember each guest, and in turn the guests leave pieces of their lives within these walls. Some visitors speak of voices that greet them by name, though they never offered it aloud. The ghosts, it seems, remember those who came before, calling gently through the halls, as if welcoming back an old friend. There is comfort in this, a sense that one's presence matters deeply, even to those who exist beyond the veil of time. One tale tells of a weary traveller who once sought shelter here during a storm. He was guided by a lantern that appeared just ahead of him, leading him through the dark woods until he reached the front porch. When he entered, the fire was already burning, and a blanket lay folded neatly across a chair. Though he never saw a soul, he swore he had been cared for like family. Another story speaks of a woman who stayed in the upstairs bedroom. She arrived with a heavy heart, yet each night she felt as though someone tucked her into bed. By morning her sorrow had softened, replaced with a quiet strength she could not explain. She told the villagers later that the house itself had listened to her grief and whispered comfort into her dreams. Children, too, have left their marks here. Some drew pictures that remain pressed between the pages of forgotten books in the library, and others left toys behind that are still found in corners of the attic. These objects sometimes shift as though played with, the ghosts carrying on games long after the children had grown and moved on. The villagers tell of gatherings in the dining room, where unseen guests joined in celebration. On nights when the air was especially still, laughter echoed faintly beyond the closed doors, reminding all who passed that joy endures even when bodies do not. The house, they say, throws its own feasts to honour those who once shared them in life. Travellers who return often find small tokens waiting for them: a rose placed on a pillow, the scent of their favourite meal drifting from the kitchen, or a book they once read set neatly on a table. The house remembers, and in its remembering, it proves that love can leave traces stronger than stone or wood. Each story adds to the fabric of the house, weaving a tapestry that stretches across time. To enter here is to step into a lineage of kindness, to become part of a story that will be told long after departure. Guests find comfort in knowing that while they may one day leave, the house will never forget them. And so, the friendly haunted house remains a vessel of stories, carrying within it the memories of every soul who crossed its threshold. These tales are not of fear, but of belonging, a reminder that every life has meaning, and every visit leaves behind a gentle glow that time cannot extinguish. Chapter 8. The Lantern Attic. High above the rest of the house lies the attic, a place where time feels slower and memories gather like dust motes in the air. The steps that lead upward creak beneath every foot, not with menace, but with the gentle weight of stories waiting to be told. At the top of the staircase, the door always seems to open on its own, as if the attic itself is eager to welcome visitors. The room is filled with treasures from years long past. Old trunks sit in corners, their lids slightly ajar, revealing glimpses of toys, books and garments from forgotten days. Cobwebs lace across wooden beams, but instead of gloom, they shimmer softly in the dim light, catching lantern glow as though spun from threads of silver. Every object here feels touched by care, preserved not as relics but as companions. The lanterns are the attic's most mysterious gift. Though no one ever lights them, their glass globes flicker with a golden glow whenever someone steps inside. Sometimes they float gently from their hooks, drifting to hover near guests like guides. They never frighten, only lead the way, illuminating corners filled with wonders waiting to be discovered. Children especially delight in this room. They find dolls that rock in their own chairs, wooden trains that roll a few inches forward, or picture books that open themselves to favourite pages. Laughter, faint but joyful, often drifts across the space as though the attic itself is playing alongside them. For adults, the attic brings not play, but reflection, urging them to pause among the treasures and remember their own childhood joys. A great trunk near the far wall is said to hold the most precious belongings of the family who once lived here. Sometimes, when opened, it contains not fabric or letters, but visions, glimpses of a birthday, a wedding, or a quiet night of reading by the fire. These moments are never frightening. Instead, they feel like being invited into the most cherished memories of a family eager to share their love. The air in the attic hums with a quiet energy. It is not heavy, but light, as though the room itself is woven from echoes of joy. Lantern light dances across the beams, sometimes forming shapes, outlines of hands waving, or figures sitting peacefully on chests. They fade quickly, leaving behind only a sense of companionship, a reminder that no one ever explores this place alone. Visitors often leave the attic feeling lighter than when they entered. Something about the treasures, the lanterns and the laughter seems to ease their burdens, reminding them of simple joys easily forgotten in the rush of life. The attic holds no threats, only invitations to pause, to play and to cherish. At night, when the rest of the house is still, the attic glows faintly from its windows. Villagers passing below often notice the soft shimmer of lantern light and smile knowingly. They say it is the family keeping watch, ensuring the house stays filled with warmth and wonder. The lantern attic, with its floating lights and treasures of memory, embodies what makes the friendly haunted house so unique. It is a place where the past is not lost but lovingly preserved, glowing softly against the dark, ensuring that all who enter carry a little of its magic with them when they leave. Chapter 9. The Watchful Night. When darkness fully settles outside, the friendly haunted house grows more alive, though never in ways that inspire fear. The windows glow softly against the indigo sky, lanterns flicker gently in the garden, and the air fills with the quiet hum of unseen companions keeping watch. To walk its halls at midnight is to feel not alone, but gently protected. The bedrooms are where the night speaks most clearly. Curtains shift slightly even when the air is still, as though unseen hands adjust them for comfort. Guests often report the sensation of being tucked into bed, the blankets smoothing softly across them without their own movement. Some say they feel a hand brush their hair or a whisper settle into their ear, carrying words they cannot quite catch, but that always leaves them calm. The corridors seem longer at night, but never threatening. Shadows stretch across the wooden floors, dancing lightly as candles flicker in their holders. A faint rustle of footsteps follows behind, never hurried, never hostile, simply steady, as though reminding each guest that they are not wandering the house alone. The companionship is constant, like a trusted guardian ensuring no harm will come. Sometimes the house offers gifts only found at night. A door that had remained stuck during the day might open with ease, revealing a hidden corner filled with treasures. A book in the library might fall open on its own, glowing faintly with words that speak directly to a traveller's secret thoughts. These gifts feel like gentle encouragements, as if the spirits delight in helping visitors find what they most need. The garden, too, changes under the stars. Moonlight turns the roses silver, and the fountain reflects constellations as though the night sky has poured itself into the water. Lanterns hover just beyond reach, beckoning guests to follow them toward beauty. Some travellers swear they have seen figures among the roses, glowing faintly with light, watching them with nothing but kindness in their eyes. Dreams in the house are unlike any others. Guests often wake at dawn remembering visions of dancing, of laughter, of long conversations by firelight. Though the dreams vanish quickly, the feeling remains, a deep sense of belonging, as though the spirits themselves had shared their joy. The line between dream and reality blurs here, leaving behind only serenity. The villagers say that no harm has ever come to anyone who stayed in the friendly haunted house. Storms may rage outside, but the roof never leaks. Travellers may arrive burdened, but they leave lighter, their worries softened into whispers. The ghosts, it seems, take pride in watching over every soul who crosses the threshold. Midnight in the friendly haunted house is not a time of fear, but of closeness. It is when the unseen guardians lean in most tenderly, making their presence known with warmth, guidance, and care. In the stillness of the watchful night, the house becomes more than a dwelling. It becomes a companion, ensuring that those who rest within its walls find peace. And so, the night here is not dark, but luminous. Shadows do not hide, they embrace. The house, glowing quietly against the midnight sky, keeps its vigil with love, reminding all who sleep under its roof that kindness is eternal, and no one is ever truly alone. Chapter 10. Good night to the house on the hill. The friendly haunted house stands quietly at the edge of the village, its presence both mysterious and welcoming. It does not seek to frighten, nor does it linger in sorrow. Instead, it offers something rare and precious, a place where the unseen world whispers comfort, where memories live on as guardians of peace, and where every visitor is welcomed into its embrace. Within its walls, laughter still drifts through the air, music plays softly in the night, and lanterns glow as though touched by gentle hands. The house remembers each soul that passes through, carrying their stories in warmth rather than in weight. It is a reminder that love and kindness need not fade with time, but can shine on like candlelight against the darkness. As the moon rises high above the hill, the house glows gently, keeping its eternal watch. Those who stay beneath its roof drift into dreams filled with comfort, carried by unseen companions who wish only to soothe. And so, the friendly haunted house endures not as a place of fear, but as a sanctuary of peace, where even the quietest whisper of memory can feel like a lullaby, guiding one into restful sleep. We hope you enjoyed today's serene journey and found peace in our gentle narration. Do join us next time as we make a relaxing visit to another of the world's most iconic places. Sweet dreams and safe travels until we meet again.